Hi, everybody, and welcome to our English Tutor with Pi Academy, and I'm going to be taking you through this masterclass today. So we're going to have an hour of the masterclass from 12 till 1, and then at the end, there will be a short 15-minute Q&A session for parents to join as well. So we're going to get started. Today, our focus for this masterclass is vocabulary in context. So I'll just go to my next slide. One moment. Sorry, 1 second. Oh, oh, it all did, everything did very quickly. Let me try that again. 1 second. There we are. Okay. So, yes, vocabulary in context, that is the theme of today's session. So, what we're talking about here is the kind of questions which I'm sure you've all seen in 11 plus English comprehension papers, where you're given a word from the text, and it's usually kind of an unfamiliar word, a slightly obscure word, and it's one that students generally are probably less likely to know. And so, what you have to do is use the tools and the skills that we're going to talk about today to make the best guess you can. Figure out most sort of closely or most confidently what could that word mean based on how it's been used in the text. So, Um, as I said, these questions they involve being able to explain or define a challenging or difficult word in the text. So when we see the word context, when we're talking about context, we mean the way the word's been used. So different words can have different meanings depending on sentence in which they're used. And this is really important to be aware of because for questions like this, you need to know that the way the word was used is often more important than just knowing the word by itself. So words can change depending on how they're used in the sentence. So here's an example here. You've got two sentences which use the word letter, and the word is the same, so the word letter is the same, but the way that they've been used changes the meaning. So the first sentence says, I decided to write a letter to tell my grandparents all about the holiday. Now, for that, I know, okay, they're talking about a physical paper letter because it's got the word write on it. It's also got, some details about who's receiving the letter. So those are my clues that I'm talking about a paper letter, with a stamp, dear so-and-so. But here's another sentence that uses it quite differently. It was essential to get all the details right, down to the letter. Now, here we're talking about individual letters, and that phrase down to the letter can also be used to mean like very specifically, to get each detail correct. So here I'm not talking about a paper letter because there's no mention of writing, there's no mention of sending a letter. So I know that actually the meaning of the word is totally different. So this is what we mean by context. These are the clues. Details, grandparents, right, all those clues tell us what the word means. Here's another example. So it says, sentence number 1, the soldier looked very smart, standing in his position outside of Buckingham Palace. Now here you can see this is clearly used as a noun, the soldier, and clues such as smart, standing, Buckingham Palace, it tells me they're talking about, guards, soldiers, people that protect or look after a building or a place. But in the second sentence, the same word has been used again, but now it's a verb. Even though the mountain was steep, we decided to soldier on. So obviously this is no longer the noun soldier. This now means, the act of continuing, carrying on despite a challenge. And you've got the clues. The mountain was steep, and then that conjunction, even though, which shows us, or sorry, I guess more of a connective, which shows us that there was something that they were having to fight against. So this is what I mean. The point of these examples is just to show you that just because you recognize the word by itself, that doesn't mean that's how it's been used. So just be aware of that. Okay, so let's go on to our question types that we're going to practice today. We've got 5 different question types to practice to get really good with vocab in context. We're going to do closest in meaning, alternative wording, define it, find and copy, and then multiple choice. So for each of these question types, these are just different ways in which vocabulary questions can be asked. For example, you might get a closest in meaning question. This is where they give you a word from the text, they just write it down, and you've got to give a synonym, give a word that is close in meaning to the original word. You might be given a full phrase. So if the question is an alternative wording question, they might give you a phrase from the text, and you've got to identify the sort of reworded version of that phrase. So it's the same meaning, but in different wording. For this one, you can do this multiple choice, but there can also be, they might ask you to write it out depending on the type of paper that you're doing. Next, define it. This is, what it sounds like. You're going to have a word from the text, and you just need to explain it in your own words. Rather than, giving a synonym, you like a closest meaning word, you've got to just explain it. So it's a little bit of freer, this one. Find and copy is pretty straightforward as well. For this one, what they usually do is they give you a word that's not in the text, and then you have to find the word that is the same in meaning within the text. So it's kind of a reverse. And then lastly, of course, multiple choice, you're going to have, various options to choose from. And this might be an alternative phrasing. It might be closest in meaning. It might be synonym. It's gonna differ. But generally, this will be used for all those different question types, depending on the kind of paper that you're doing. Okay, so now we're going to talk through a few strategies, and this is a point at which, guys, hopefully you can all use the chat for this. There will be some little tasks to do, some questions to try, so do get involved, put your answers in the chat, and I'll read some out and give my feedback as much as I can. So these are strategies for answering this kind of question. So strategy 1, we're calling this identifying parts of speech. Now, parts of speech, as I'm sure you all know, this just means what is the word type? So what kind of word is it? Is it a noun? Is it an adjective? Is it an adverb? Or is it a verb? Those are obviously the most common ones. By doing that, it helps you to figure out like what function that word has in the sentence, and often can help to find the meaning. So let's see if you guys can try this out. So you've got a selection of sentences here. I've put a word in bold, and I want you to tell me in the chat what word type that is. Okay, so the first sentence. Apollo played on his lyre and the muses sang. So in the chat, tell me what word type is the word lyre? Verb, noun, adjective, adverb. Can anybody find what it is? Oh, okay, let's see. Apologies. Sorry, I've just seen a message. I actually can't see this from my end, but if you students who are using emojis, please stop. It's distracting the rest of the students. Please make sure that you're not using any of the features besides those that I ask. That would be great. Thank you. Okay, so I can see in the chat, most of you have correctly identified that yes, lyre is a noun. Excellent. We know this because we can see that possessive pronoun his right before it, always comes before nouns. Okay, what about the next one? He broke off a twig. Sorry, he broke a twig off the tree and started writing in the dirt with it. What word type is that? Okay, good. Lots of correct answers. Yes, that's another noun. Again, A, it's got the determiner A before it, so we know it's going to be a noun. Okay, number three, during the meeting, the secretary documented all important discussion topics and later emailed the notes to all workers in the office. So the word documented, what word type is that? Okay, good. I see lots of correct answers. Yes, well done, everybody. That is a verb. You can also tell because, of course, it comes right after the noun. It's the action that the secretary is doing. But of course, it always has also has that common ed past tense verb ending. Okay, very good. Right, number four, everybody. There is empirical evidence that shows that human activity is contributing to global warming. What is our word type there for the word empirical? Just checking through here. Okay, good. I see lots of correct answers. Well done, everybody. That indeed is an adjective. It's describing the noun evidence. So, yeah, it's an adjective, meaning empirical means to be based in fact, proven by fact. Okay, or proven by research. Right, one more. The menu for the wedding was predominantly meat, but there were some vegetarian options. Be careful with this one. Okay, good. I can see actually loads of correct answers. Well done, everybody. Some, yeah, mostly actually pretty much all correct. This is indeed an adverb. I wonder if anybody can identify, just while we're here, obviously adverbs describe verbs. Now we can also identify it because of the ly. Ly is always very handy to notice an adverb. But what is the verb that's being described by this word predominantly? What is the word that's being described? Sorry, the verb that's being described. Just see if anyone's got it. Because remember that adverbs, they have to go, you can't put an adverb by itself. It has to go with a verb. I can see some of you have said wedding and meet. Those are both nouns. So you need to look for a verb. Oh, good. I can see a couple of people have got it. Quite a few of you have said meet. But meet is a noun. Okay, a few of you have got it. The word is was. Was is the word that is the verb. So, oh, I can see some hands going up. I'm just going to just use the chat, everybody, because there's a lot of you to talk, and I don't want to pick others and not pick some and pick not others. So I'll largely use the chat, but I can see hands going up. The verb was. If there are questions, please you can save those for the Q&A at the end. All right, so let's go on to our next task. Strategy 2, identifying the root. So we've just been talking about the strategy of identifying what word type is being used. Very, very handy. Second strategy, identify the root. And this means, can you recognize if there's another like word family to which this word belongs? So as I've written here, it says, if you recognize part of a word, there's a good chance that other vocabulary will be related to the same meaning. Now, this is not foolproof, right? Okay, this doesn't always work. There are some words which have a root that is not related to the word. So it's not completely watertight, but it does help if you're not sure at all. So what you might be able to do is look at the word and recognize, I recognize that word. That reminds me of that word. There's a good chance that they're related. So what you might be able to do is remove prefix, suffix, or even remove bits of the tense to reveal what the root was. So let's see if you guys can try these out. I've got a few options here. See if you can identify what the root is. You're going to have to remove, in some cases, remove a prefix or a suffix. Others, you might have to remove or find the word within. Otherwise, there might be more than one thing to remove. So let's see what you guys think. Right, so the first sentence, Harry experienced a lot of prejudice when he first started his new job. This is probably the trickiest out of all of these sentences. So can anyone find the root word? of prejudice? Also, I can see quite a lot of you did get that verb was in the end as well. So well done to those of you who did so. It will be a word you recognize. Think about what the word prejudice means. Quite a few of you have said pre, but that's the prefix, not the root. Oh, I can see some are close. I haven't seen one that's correct just yet. You may have to change the word a little bit. If you show someone prejudice, what are you doing to them? So I'm just looking through the answers and seeing if anybody's got it. Now, Judas, a lot of you said Judas, which isn't a word. It will be. Oh, okay, someone's got it. Someone has got it. I'll just see if anybody else gets it. What do you do to someone if you show them prejudice? What are you doing to them? Lots of you said Judas. Solly, you said, hi, is this correct track? Yes, I can see your messages. Okay, I think I've actually just seen one person get it correctly. It's actually the word judge. Judge is the root of prejudice. So what you have to do here is you have to take away the pre, and then you have to take away the is, and then you're left with jud in the middle, which of course, as a verb by itself, would be judge rather than just jud. Because if you show someone prejudice, that means that you judge them before you know them, right? Pre meaning before, and then judge meaning making up decisions about them, making assumptions about them. So yeah, that one is judge, but that is the trickiest one here. The rest of them are a little bit more straightforward. So let's try the next one. The birthday cake was unusual as it was in a triangular shape. What is the root of this word? Oh, good. I can already see some correct messages coming through here. Remember, remove as much as you can of the word. Okay, good. Lots of you are saying triangle. Yes, excellent. I mean, for this one, you could even say angle because tri would be a prefix and then the euler is just a suffix. So you can even take it lower down and like you can narrow it down even further. Okay, let's try number 3. Rachel often looked with regret on her misspent youth. Where is the root of that word? Which part is a word by itself? Okay, good. Yes. Excellent. Lots of correct answers for this one. You're right. It is spent because we've got the word miss, well, the prefix miss, suggesting like the opposite, or spent it badly. Um, so yeah, excellent. So misspent youth, you used it unwisely. Okay, fantastic. Right, number 4. After the operation, Daniela was immobile for several weeks. This should be quite fairly straightforward, this one. Yeah, good. I see lots of messages coming up with this one. Good. It means mobile. Well, sorry, it doesn't mean mobile. It is mobile, yes. Mobile meaning to be able to move around. And then you've got the prefix im to suggest that it's the opposite. She's not able to move around. Okay, and the last one. Fortunately, there was an effective intercity transport service which allowed commuters to travel easily. So, intercity, where's the root? So I'm trying to look through as many messages as I can. Good, yes. Lots of you got this one as well. It is city. And then of course the prefix is inter, meaning like between. So this likely means that you can travel around a lot within the city. Or it could also mean that it goes between two cities. Okay, excellent, everybody. So that's another strategy. is looking for the root. That can sometimes help to figure out what the word means, and then you can look at the prefix and figure out how that's changing or what that's adding to the word. And let's do a final quick strategy before we look at an extract. This is quite a simple strategy, and this is kind of one that you can kind of use as a last resort. So you can replace the word you have, if you are not really sure, try and replace it with a very general synonym, because it might be that the word that you choose is very specific, so you can give a very general word that might encompass some of its meaning. So have a look at these. All you need to do is give me a word that is a sort of simpler or more general synonym of the word. It's not going to be exact, but it's going to be close. So first one, lovely purple hydrangeas were in bloom in the gardens. What would be a very general synonym that you could give for that word? Okay, good. I can see lots of correct answers. Yes, good. Excellent. Whoever, if you put flowers, you're exactly right, because hydrangea is like a type of flower. And you can sort of tell from the clues, right? Lovely, in bloom, garden, and then the color as well. So, there's lots of different clues that help you. Um, Obviously the word flower is not it's not exactly a specific synonym, but with a, very specific type of flower, you're not going to really find one. So flowers is just fine. Okay, let's try the second one. Yesterday for dinner, I had a delicious enchilada. How would you perhaps replace that? I mean, I think you've got different sort of options here. Yeah, you could say food. You could say main course, food. Lots of people saying food. Meal, yeah, you could say meal. You wouldn't want to give another type of food because that's not going to be quite right. So you would want to say something like pizza or curry or something like that, because that's going to be too different. But if you say a word that is very general, kind of like the category, that can work. So yeah, meal, food, main course, those all work really nicely. Okay, then. Oops, yeah, there we go. So Apollo played on his lyre and the music sang. We had this one before, but now I want you to see if you can give me a general synonym for lyre. Lyre. Okay, yeah, good. I can see lots of you picking up on this one. Excellent. Yes, an instrument. Exactly. We know because it says played. So yeah, you could say instrument. You could also say musical instrument. Does anybody know what a lyre actually looks like? It is quite similar to one particular um, modern instrument that we have. I don't know if anybody knows. I can look through. Yeah, I can see quite a few of you are saying harp. There is also the lute as well, which is, and some of you have said guitar, which is, if I'm getting this correct, I think that the lute looks more like a guitar, whereas a lyre looks more like a harp. So yeah, you could have said harp as well. That could be another possibility. Okay, number four. The father said to his son, I do not condone this behavior. You must be punished. Give me your smartphone now. So, what's a general synonym we could give for that word there? Condone. I do not condone. Oh, actually, quite a lot of different ones that you guys have said here. So, some of it said accept, allow, approve of. Yeah, good. Tolerate. That's a good one. I think those that, oh yeah, permit is another one. I do not permit this kind of behavior, accept this kind of behavior. You wouldn't want to say unacceptable because it needs to be the verb. Disregard. You wouldn't say disregard because that would be what he does want to do. He does want to disregard the kind of behavior. So it's kind of that's sort of almost like an antonym. Yeah, you could even just say like. I don't like this behavior. Yes. Yeah. Good. Okay, excellent. Just seeing if there are any other variations on, but I think most of you have said accept, allow, yeah, tolerate. Quite a few of you said. Okay, fantastic. Great. All right, one more. Let's try the final one. Universal healthcare would naturally increase sorry, I should say America's taxes, but also alleviate many problems in the current American healthcare system. So we're looking for the word alleviate. Can you find a very general synonym that would mean something pretty similar? It would increase the taxes, but alleviate the problems. Quite a few of you have said make, and it's kind of the opposite. Can see a few of you are saying, are you looking at my messages? Yes, I'm looking at all of them. I'm just clicking through very, very quickly. Don't worry if you, I mean, I've seen basically all your messages because I'm literally clicking on every single one that comes up. So don't worry, I am seeing them. Okay. Right, here are some good answers. Yes, stop is a good one. Stop is probably a little bit too general, but it's on the right lines because you're trying to get rid of. When you're alleviating, it means you're lifting something, you're kind of decreasing it. Not quite. Wait, hang on. Worsen is kind of the opposite because alleviate, yeah, means to relieve. So yeah, reduce is a good one. Solve, that's a good one. Yes. Reduce, ease, shorten. Yeah, those are all good. Destroy, that's quite dramatic, but that would work. So anything that's similar to like making something less. If you've put something that means that you've made something less, you've reduced it, that would work. If you said something that means to increase something, that's not going to quite be right because this is about alleviating problems, which means getting rid of them rather than making more. Okay, right. How am I doing for time? Okay, I'm going to move on now to our next task. And this is where we're going to put some of these questions into practice and some of these strategies. So we're going to be reading a little extract here from a novel called Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, which I'm hoping some of you have heard of in the past, when you've read it or maybe heard about it. And for this one, I've chosen this because the language is a little bit more dense. It's the kind of thing you might get for 11 plus because they always give you older style of writing, so it's a bit more challenging. So for each of these extracts, we've got a different question type to try, and I want you to use the chat to give me your answers. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do some examples of closest in meaning. So I'm going to read the short passage, then you kind of have a few words to answer questions on, and I'll show you the questions in just a second. Okay, so Jane Eyre, the section that we're reading today, it comes from a point in the book where Jane Eyre, she's our main protagonist. She has no parents, so she has been brought up by her uncle and aunt, and she goes to a school where she finally gets freedom for the first time, and she really enjoys learning and being part of the community there. But school as well is not an ideal school at the same time. So this part is describing her life at her school. Right, let's read. Is your book interesting? I had already formed the intention of asking the girl to lend it to me some day. I like it, she answered, after a pause of a second or two, during which she examined me. What's it about? I continued. I hardly know where I found the hardihood thus to open a conversation with a stranger. The step was contrary to my nature and habits, but I think her occupation touched a chord of sympathy somewhere, for I too liked reading, though of a frivolous and childish kind. I could not digest or comprehend the serious or substantial. Okay, so there's our short first passage. So the first thing I'd like you guys to do is try question one. This is closest in meaning, and it's about the word frivolous. Okay, so I'm just seeing that this message is going up. I'll come to those in a second. So we've just read this passage here, and you've got the word frivolous just here. So I'd like you guys to use the context to help you. Which option is closest in meaning to frivolous? Pointless, silly, important, or funny? So she's talking about her reading. She says, I too liked reading, though of a frivolous and childish kind. I could not digest or comprehend the serious or substantial. So let's see what you guys think. Which option is closest in meaning to frivolous? Okay, lots of good answers here. Yes, I can. Oh, hang on. Good. Lots of you have said the right answer. I'm just checking over. Okay, fantastic. So if you said B, silly, you are correct. Yes, because Jane's talking about how she likes reading, but she just reads sort of silly stuff, not serious, somber books. So yeah, this describes her tastes in reading. So well done if you got that correct. Okay, here's the next one. It's the word hardihood, which is on our first sentence. I hardly knew where I found the hardihood to open a conversation with a stranger. So here are your options. Which word's close to meaning? Livelihood, ease, confidence, curiosity. So what do you think is the word that is closest in meaning to hardihood? Okay, I can see some correct answers. Let's just take a look here. Have I missed any? Remember, it might help you to identify the word type. Sorry, I've just seen a message saying, can I slow down? Yeah, I'll just take it slow. Don't worry, I'll slow down on these questions now. Give everyone a bit of time to answer. So, which word is closest in meaning to hardihood? Here, Jane's talking about how she's just spoken to a stranger and she says that it was contrary to my nature and habit, so she's not used to talking to strangers. So, what do you think she means when she's talking about the hardihood to open a conversation with a stranger? Okay, I will reveal the answer now. The answer is C, confidence. So very well done if you got that correct. Hardihood, yeah, it's a noun meaning. Oh, hang on. Yes, I can see your messages. I can see a message from Manasseh there. Yes, I can see your messages. And I've just seen you said, is there any PDF? Yes, you'll be sent this after the session. Don't worry. You'll be sent all the notes so you can read over everything and revise and, go over everything again. Um, so if you got C correct, you are right. She is like, how did I get so bold as to speak to a stranger? I'm not usually a bold or confident person at all. So well done if you got that correct. Okay, one more. Substantial. This is at the very end of the passage there. So this is Jane. She's talking about reading again. And your question is this. Which word is closest in meaning to substantial? Does it mean meaningful, heavy, somber, or goofy? Let's read the text again to remind ourselves. So it says, for I too liked reading, though of a frivolous and childish kind. I could not digest or comprehend the serious or substantial. So think about what is Jane saying about her own reading tastes. If you can't see the words, if my camera is on, you'll have to change settings on your page because I can't change. You have to change the way you view the Zoom. Um, Change it, I think, to maybe presentation mode, I think it's called. Have a look and see if you can find that because I can't change where my camera is. Okay, I can see quite a lot of correct answers. Substantial, substantial. What does substantial mean? Okay, one more moment to answer before I reveal. I think what do I do? I think well, Elsie, if you go on to, I think at the top, I'm not exactly sure, but I think there's a button that says yes. I think if you go onto the like column along the bottom with the controls, there should be a button that says layout, and you can try the different options, and there should be one that moves that minimizes the camera so you can see the slides better. See if you can find that option where it says layout. Okay, I'm going to reveal the answer. The answer is A, meaningful. So some of you did say somber, but most of you said meaningful. The difference is that somber means like sad, right? Grave, something that's about a very sort of, I'm trying to define it without using the word serious because obviously that's right there. Something about a like a dark or upsetting topic, usually somber. But meaningful can also be positive. It doesn't have to be sad. So yeah, substantial means like it's a text that has real substance to it, like it's really complex, it's really intricate. There's a lot of deep and important messages in it, and doesn't have to necessarily be somber. Okay, right. Let's go on to our next question. We're now going to do a little extra passage and we're going to do another question type. So this is carrying on from the same passage and we're going to read this first and then ask some questions. So, you may look at it, replied the girl, offering me the book. I did so. Brief examination convinced me that the contents were less taking than the title. Rasselas looked dull to my trifling taste. I saw nothing about fairies, nothing about genii. No bright variety seemed spread over the closely printed pages. I returned it to her. She received it quietly and without saying anything, she was about to relapse into her former studious mood. So now Jane has been given the book to have a look at, and she's like, what's this? She's not into it. So let's have a look at some questions. For this passage, sorry, we're going to have a couple of phrases from the text to see if you can identify how you would word them differently. So, first question. Which of the following is another way of saying no bright variety seemed spread over the closely printed pages? So this is the moment where Jane looks in the text and she's describing what she notices. So here are your options. Does this mean A, there were no illustrations? Does it mean B, there were lots of interesting storylines? C, there was nothing exciting in the text? Or D, the pages were not printed in colour? So I'll give everyone a moment to choose their answer. Okay, I can see quite a few correct answers. Just give everyone one more moment. Okay, so The answer, if you for the sentence, no bright variety seemed spread over the closely printed pages. If you got C, you were correct. There was nothing exciting in the text. So very well done. If that was the answer that you got, fantastic. Because this is describing not like the colors, but the actual contents of the story. Because when she does a brief examination of the text, she's looking at the actual story, not the pictures. And she says, I saw nothing about fairies, nothing about genii, like, genies or fairies. So those are obviously the things that Jane likes to read about. So she's saying, well, I was skimming the text and there was nothing interested that interested me in it. So none of the things that she finds exciting, she couldn't see any mention of them in the text. So if you got C, well done. You are exactly correct. Okay, here's another alternative wording question for you. So, same passage again, and this is the last sentence of the passage. So, the question is this: which of the following is another way of saying relapse or relapse, depending on how you pronounce it, into her former studious mood? So, here are your options. Does this mean A, relax and finish studying? Does it mean B, put her books away? C, concentrate further on her studying? Or D, go back to studying? So, think about the word former, think about the word studious, think about relapse, and let's see what you guys think. Okay, good. That's correct. That's correct. Good. Okay, fantastic. I can actually see loads and loads of correct messages. Well done, everyone. Okay, I think most of you got this one actually. Like, I can't see really very many alternative questions. I think everyone's pretty much on the same lines here, primarily. Okay, so just a final minute to let everybody send their answer that wants to say relapse into her former studious mood. What does the girl do when Jane hands the book back? And the answer is D, go back to studying. So very well done. I think most of you got that correct. So yeah, relapse or relapse means to go back, you might, for example, be on a routine where you're waking up every day at 6 a.m. and you're like, this is my new routine. And then if you relapse, that might mean, oh no, I woke up at 7. Oh no, I woke up at 8. Oh no, I woke up at 9. So you're kind of going back to the old ways. So yeah, relapse means to go back. And then her studious mood, yes, she was obviously studying before Jane came along and asked for the book. So well done, those of you who got that correct. Right, next section of our next question type, we have another passage to read, same novel. This is from the next chapter. This is now Jane talking about what life was like at Lowood. So she's not just talking about that description with, talking to another student. She's now talking about Lowood School as, in general, what is it like? So we're going to read this passage and then we have some questions about the vocabulary. So let's read. My first quarter at Lowood seemed an age, and not the golden age either. It comprised an irksome struggle with difficulties in habituating myself to new rules and unwanted tasks. The fear of failure in these points harassed me worse than the physical hardships of my lot, though these were no trifles. During January, February, and part of March, the deep snows and, after their melting, the almost impassable roads prevented our stirring beyond the garden walls, except to go to church. But within these limits, we had to pass an hour every day in the open air. Okay, so let's go to my next page here. For these next questions, we're going to do define it. Okay, so you're going to have a word from a text that I want you to put into your own words in the chat. So this first one is the word habituating. Now, what's going to be really helpful for you here is thinking about the root of the word. So let's read the sentence in which it appears one more time. So she's talking about the first, term at Lowood. It comprised an irksome struggle with difficulties in habituating myself to new rules and unwanted tasks. So in the chat, give me your brief definition or a brief explanation of what this must mean. Oh, yes, sorry, I can't. Apologies, I actually can't see any of the emojis going up. But if people are sending emojis, please do stop because students are getting distracted and they're trying to focus on the work. So please do stop. Okay, I can see quite a lot of correct answers. Just having a little look through and see if there are any more. Okay, so a lot of you have phrases in different ways, but that's totally fine, of course, because with these kind of ones, there's always going to be a bit of variety. So here are some variations that you guys have said. So it means getting settled into a place, getting used to, getting into the habit of, yes. Trying to make it a habit. I mean, yes, getting used to it. A lot of you can obviously see that there is the root of the word habit. Habituating comes from the root of habit. And of course, the habit is something that you are used to, something you do all the time. Settling in, yes, good. Warming up to the routine, yes, that's it. Getting used to it. Okay, excellent. Understanding what to do, exactly. Excellent. So here are some possible ways you could have said it. I mean, obviously, there's no perfect way to do it because it's your own words. So here are, some possible answers. Getting used to, adapting to, or becoming familiar with. Those would all work, as well as, all of your variations that were on these lines also are totally fine. Okay, here's another word for you. Oh, I realize I haven't put this in bold. Apologies. You can see the word is the last word of the text there, the word trifles. Explain the meaning of the... Oh, and there's another typo. I should say word. I do apologize, everybody. The meaning of the word trifles in your own words. So, here's the sentence. The fear of failure in these points harassed me worse than the physical hardships of my lot, though these were no trifles. So, trifles is quite an old word. Okay, guys, I have asked 3 times now to stop sending the emojis, and I can still see messages from students asking me to tell people to stop. So please do stop because it's becoming very distracting and it's disrespectful to all the people here who are trying to learn and focus on the session. So please do stop. We need to be focused. Okay. I'm sorry, everybody else who is focusing, and there's other kids who are sending the emojis. I do apologize. Okay. Hopefully it will, I hope that people do stop. Right, so trifles. I'm looking through the chat and I haven't yet seen any correct answers just yet. This is a tricky word, though. Oh, there's one. Oh, yes. Okay, that's a good one. Something that's not. Yeah, I'm going to read some of these out in just a second. The word trifles is an interesting one because obviously trifles, like a trifle, is also a dessert, isn't it? But obviously, you know, it's not that here. So a trifle, I think some of you have got something along the right lines here, is something that is insignificant, which I think one of you definitely said something that is insignificant. So a trifle is something small, something unimportant, something. Let's see if there's any other options that you guys said. Let's see. Something that means nothing. Yeah, something small, something that is kind of not not too significant, not too painful. The point here is that Jane is saying that she's really worrying that she doesn't fit in. Like she's not following the rules. She's not getting used to the rules quick enough. And she's saying that that was actually more stressful than the physical hardships. But she's saying, but the physical hardships themselves were not small. She's saying these were no trifles. So she's using the word no, which indicates to us that it's the opposite. What she's saying about it is the opposite of the word. So the physical hardships of her life at Lowood were also very hard. They were no small thing. So here are some possibilities. If you said something similar to this, you are correct. Little things, unimportant things, pointless things, insignificant things. If you said something like that, then yeah, you are correct. Okay, right. I'm aware that I'm running a little bit low on time, so I'm just going to go on to try and get through this last little bit um, before we run out of time for today. Okay, so you've now got another define it question with the word stirring. So this was the second paragraph of our passage, and it's in bold there. So let's reread it again. So it tells us that in January, February, part of March, the deep snows and after their melting, the almost impassable roads prevented our stirring beyond the garden walls. So I think you could probably find quite a simple like verb to replace stirring. It's quite a lot of possibilities. Okay, yes. Sorry, I'm just going to tell the team that students are still sending emojis. Okay, right, let's have a look. So, stirring, what have you guys said? Okay, good. I can see lots of different synonyms that work here. Moving, going, yep, that works. Stir is the root. Yes, one of you mentioned the root. So if you stir, like I did not stir, I could see her stirring. What does it mean? Can I help you? Going through, going past. Yes, good. Going past a boundary. Venturing. Yes, that's a good one. Escape. I guess you could say escape. Yes, moving is probably the simplest word that would be a perfect synonym here. Looking at other ones. Moving. Yes. I am again. I do apologize, everybody. I am trying to find a way to stop the settings from allowing students to send emojis. But from my perspective, I can't actually see anything. I don't quite know why I can't. Um, but please do stop. Students are asking me over and over again, and it's becoming now disruptive to the class. So please do stop. Okay, so here are some options. If you have anything like this, it will work. So you have moving, escaping, going, or venturing. Oh yeah, I did say escaping, yes. So yeah, that definitely works. It just means that they were basically trapped, right? They were basically trapped inside of the block. Okay, now we've only got a few minutes left, so I'm just going to do one final task. This is going to be a little bit of multiple choice for you to finish off. So I'm just going to go on a little bit. No, in fact, okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just going to do one or two more questions to finish because I'm aware that I am running out of time. Okay, so one final passage now. This section talks about the food that was given to the students at school. So I'm just going to read this passage and then you're going to have a few words to identify in the text. So, then the scanty supply of food was distressing with the keen appetites of growing children. We had scarcely sufficient to keep alive a delicate invalid. From this deficiency of nourishment resulted an abuse which pressed hardly on the younger girls. Whenever the famished great girls had an opportunity, they would coax or menace the little ones out of their portion. Many a time I've shared between two claimants the precious morsel of brown bread distributed at tea time, and after relinquishing to a third half the contents of my mug of coffee, I've swallowed the remainder with an accompaniment of secret tears, forced from me by the exigency of hunger. So, this is describing the fact that there wasn't a lot to eat. And if you were a younger student, you'd probably get your food stolen from you times. It's not the nicest of schools. Okay, so here is your first quick question. Let's just try this out. Let's find and copy now. So you've been given a word here that's not in the text, but you've got to find the synonym. So find and copy a word that means lack. Have a little look in the text. Can you find a word that is the same in meaning as lack? And remember that lack is a noun. I can see that some of you have said scanty, but scanty would actually be an adjective because it's scanty supply. But you need a noun. Oh, good. I can see a couple of answers that are correct. Because remember, if you were to use the word lack, you would say, we have a lack of supplies or something like that. Okay, good. Those of you who have put, I can see a few of you have got it. I'm just, because of the time, I'm just going to have to whiz on a bit. Deficiency is the word. If you identified the word deficiency, you were correct. This deficiency of nourishment, this lack of nourishment, so a lack of food. And let's do a final one to finish off for today. Find and copy a word that means threaten. Now, of course, threaten, as you can probably tell, is a verb. So you're looking for another verb in the text. Okay, lots of correct answers. This is very good. Okay, all right. I mean, there's a bit of variation on this one, in fact, but this is the correct answer. Menace. Coax. A lot of you said coax, and that's close, but coax can kind of just mean persuade. Menace has a kind of danger within it, right? If you're menacing towards someone, obviously that's using it as an adjective, that means to threaten them so they feel like a sense of danger if they don't give it up. So coax was close, but menace is closer because it has that level of danger, whereas coax doesn't quite have that. Okay, I think that is all I'm going to have time for today. It's just hit 1 o'clock. So I just go on to our final slide here. It's now time for the Q&A session. So thank you everybody so much for all of your contributions to the session today. And again, apologies for the issue with the emojis, but hopefully we were able to still focus as much as possible. So thanks everyone so much. And now I'll pass over to Avashi for the Q&A.
Thanks a lot, Lewis. That was a great session. I hope all the students must have learned a lot about 11 plus comprehension, vocabulary in context. And thanks a lot for, taking out such a great time and helping them understand through all the questions in detail. It was lovely. And sorry again for the students who, got disturbed due to the reactions. We will ensure that we get it off, get the settings done right. So apologies again. So now it's time for the parents Q&A. I would request all the parents to join in and ask any questions if they may have. And meanwhile, I will allow Louis, can you allow me to share? Like if you could turn off the sharing. All right, thanks. So meanwhile, I'll walk you through the courses that we have recently launched, which is for the Christmas, as the Christmas break is coming. We have launched the Christmas courses, and as you can see, they are already at a 50% off right now. You can see, you can hover on the 11 plus courses and you would be able to see all the Christmas courses that we have launched. It includes 11 plus GL exam mastery, 11 plus comprehension, creative writing. Then we have the interview workshop for if any student is preparing for the independent schools, as the interview might be coming up. We also have verbal reasoning, non-verbal reasoning, algebra, geometry, and a complete maths booster course as well. So to know more about the details and timings of the course, I would like you to click on this icon here, book your seat or check the course plan, and you would be able to see the entire process and the details about the course. So here in the course description, we have provided what all is included. We do provide all the lecture notes, and after every session, we have the auto-marked homework. It's a 10 days course. As you can see, it's a 10 classes course, and each class is going to be of 2.5 hours, including the maths, English, and the verbal reasoning section. You can see the entire day-wise breakdown. This I'm just showing you for one of the courses. This is the same for every other courses. If you go to any of the course internal page, you would be able to see all that is going to be covered. And we are also going to have a final mock exam in almost all the courses after the course is ended. On the same day, we would be having the final mock exams as well. And just to repeat again, we do provide all the lecture notes. We have you registered on get you on the study portal, which is our platform. And there you would be able to see all the lecture notes, homework, and the final mock exams as well. And since, let me see if there's any questions, I would request the parents to put the questions in the chat box so we can take them up one by one. Or if you are sending it personally to Lewis, then Lewis, you can also check if you get any.
Yeah. There was just one question. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, please go on.
It was just about sending notes from the masterclass. How will they be able to access them?
Right. So we will be sending out an email shortly after the masterclass is over, maybe in another half an hour or so. And we would be sending you the lecture notes as well there. And you will also get the live YouTube recording. This session is getting recorded and is live on YouTube as well. So if you want to go back and check out, you can do check out our YouTube channel. That also will be provided on the same email. And as the masterclass we promised in the masterclass that the coupon code Master30 is applicable now. You can get a flat 30% off on all the resources, which includes 11 plus papers, including maths, English, comprehension, creative writing. All these papers you can get at a flat 30% off. And not just that, all these courses that I just showed you are also applicable for the same coupon code. So over and above the flat 50% off that we are providing right now, you also can get a flat 30% off above that. That coupon code is valid only for the next 24 hours. So make sure you make the most out of it, as this is the chance and Christmas break is coming. So I think it would be really, really helpful that you make and book your seat early as possible. So yes, just to show you one more course, I would like to show you about the comprehension mastery course. It is a 5 days course, as you can see in the beginning. And all the question types that we are going to cover is here, like close reading, vocabulary, literary devices, analytical types of questions, paraphrasing, inference. Then we also have multiple choice comprehension questions. Also, here again, you can see we are going to have a final mock exam. The lecture notes will be provided. We are going to have a daily homework, and all these classes will be conducted live. So you would be able to see. It is starting from 27th of December, and each session is going to be 1.5 hours long. All you need is to just fill in this form and book the course. Then our support team will reach out to you, and they will let you know the further process. How much time are your sessions? Okay, so each session, depending on the course that you choose, Taslima, it will depend which course you are choosing, and each one has the time mentioned there. Most of the courses are for 1.5 hours long, except the GL one, because it covers the 3 subjects, which is maths, English, and verbal reasoning. So that is the case. Along with that, you could check out whatever course you prefer. You can check out the internal page for that respective course, and you could see here also, you could see in the course list. Yeah, sorry, somebody was speaking. I think, Louis, are you speaking?
No, it wasn't me.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, that is the one. I don't see any further questions right now. So I would walk you through the papers that we have. So this was all about the courses, Christmas courses we have recently launched. So once again, I would repeat that the Master30 coupon code is applicable on the Christmas courses, and the courses are filling up fast. So book your seat today, and since the coupon code is only applicable for the next 24 hours, so you got this opportunity to get it at a cheaper rate as well. So just to show you the 11 plus maths papers, I would like to show you this topic wise, which is our hottest selling product. And here you could see that we provide not just the past papers and their solutions, but we have also bifurcated the topic wise sections. So you could select your weakest topic. For example, if you are struggling with the topic of triangles, you could just click on triangles and see all the questions which are related to that, and we do provide the detailed step by step answers, so you can see this. Along with that, we got 15,000 questions, and you also get the subscription for 245 plus past papers, which is this product. So these two are complementary, and that goes with any of the maths product that we have on our website. So you can see that all the topics that we have here for the 11 plus exam are listed here. So this is a very unique kind of a thing which helps many students to target their weak topic and not just go on and solve the papers. But if you're, let's say, weak on the geometry part, you could select that topic and practice more. We also provide the timers, so you could see at like within what time you need to finish the question. You can also, bookmark the question if you like. And not just that, you could also see that we do the topic wise tagging here as well. So whatever topic that the question is related to, you can see from here. So these products are also right now at a flat 30% off. You can apply the coupon code Master30 to get the discount. now to take you to the English papers, I would like to show you that the English papers come with creative writing tasks as well. We got 135 plus solve past papers which are relevant for the 2026 11 plus exam, and it covers around 1000 plus comprehension questions. And we do provide the papers are available for free download, but the answers of course are on the basis of subscription, and all our subscriptions are valid for 1 year. And we also provide the hint and the detailed model answer. So this is how the solutions on our website and the answers on our website looks like. You can also you will be able to see the creative writing checklist, the detailed model answers as well. So, and apart from that, we also keep on conducting the free sessions. So if you'd like, you can join them and then make your decision to purchase, as all these digital products are non-refundable. I think there's one question. No, not yet. If there's any further question, I would request the parents to drop in the query on the chat box and just rechecking. Louis, have you got any? Then you can go
No, I
on.
haven't seen any just yet. Yeah, I
All
think we answered the one that I saw.
right. Okay, great. So I think that's all then. We will wait a couple more minutes if they have got any questions. But just a final walkthrough, I would also like to show you that if you are unable to join our live courses, which are the Christmas courses, you can also see our pre-recorded video courses, which includes the Comprehension Mastery course as well. We have the all-in-one bundle, which includes all the below mentioned courses, video courses. For example, creative writing, algebra, which includes the advanced as well as the beginner word problems. We also got 11 plus geometry, fractions, and we have mentioned like the number of video lectures that you are going to get. Along with that, you get the solved uh, practice papers and past paper questions. Apart from that, we also got mock exams. So you can see the board specific mock exams that you want to target to. And I think I could hear some voice. Let me just check. Yeah. All right, fine. So moving on. Is somebody speaking? No, I think just me. All right, so that was all. And just a final reminder that the coupon code is again valid for the next 24 hours only, which is master 30. And you need to type it in caps lock. Don't use the small case, otherwise it would not be applicable. You can apply the coupon code only at the checkout. Yeah, right. And we also got 11 plus practice papers, which are again very, very cheaply priced, as you can see, compared to the many other platforms that provide these bundles. You can select whichever board you prefer and get the practice papers bundle, which we have already mentioned what all it includes, the number of questions, and the detailed solutions to whatever we have seen in the maths and English. Likewise, we provide the detailed solutions for the practice papers as well. All right. So I think that's it. If we don't have any further questions, we would drop in and we will be sending out the email shortly to you, maximum within an hour. Thanks again, Louis. Thank you for joining in and hope we see you soon in the next session. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.